Good morning, students. Today's topic is cell wall. It's a topic of cell biology. In this topic, we'll deal with the structure and functions of the cell wall. The cell wall is the outermost protective layer. The cell wall is the outermost protective layer. It is present only in the plant cells. In case of animal cells, the cell wall is absent. In animal cells, the cell is protected by a plasma membrane or cell membrane. It is not only protective in function, it also helps in it gives a shape to the plant body. It is dynamic and rigid layer. It is mainly composed of carbohydrates such as cellulose, pectin, hemicellulose, and lignin, protein, and other certain fatty substances such as waxes. Ultrastructurally, cell wall is found to consist of microfibrillar network lying in a gel-like matrix. These microfibrils are mostly made up of cellulose. There is another cell wall material called pectin, which is rich cementing substance between the walls of adjacent cells, which is called middle lamella. The cell wall, which is formed immediately after the division of cell, constitutes the primary cell wall. Many kinds of plant cells have only primary wall around them. Primary cell wall is composed of loose network of cellulose microfibrils, pectin, and hemicellulose. In certain type of cells such as phloem and xylem, which are conducting a tissue present in the plant body, an additional layer is found added to the inner surface of the primary cell wall a later stage. That means at mature cells they have along with the primary cell wall material inside the cell wall, primary cell wall, secondary cell wall materials are deposited. The layer is called secondary cell wall and it consists of mainly cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. In many plant cells, there are tunnels running through the cell wall called plasmodesmata, which allow communication with other cells in a tissue. The cell wall constitutes a kind of exoskeleton. It is not only it is rigid and also acts as exoskeleton that provides protection and mechanical support to the plant cell. It determines the shape of plant cell and prevents it from desiccation. The cell wall is rigid, transparent, permeable, and flexible. The outermost layer surrounding plasma membrane in some cells as plants. So, coming to the chemical composition of cell wall. Coming to the chemical composition of cell wall. In plant, cell wall is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, and pectins. Cellulose microfibrils are embedded in matrix. So matrix is the gel-like ground substance which consists of water, hemicellulose, pectin, glycoproteins, and lipids. Hemicellulose contains arabinose, mannose, xylose, and galactose. They are complex carbohydrates. The pectin contains galactose, arabinose, galactouronic acid, glucouronic acid. The cell wall may have lignin for hardness, silica for stillness and protection, cutin to prevent water loss, and suberin for impermeability. The cell walls of higher plants and some algae are composed principally of cellulose, which is the single most important polymer on earth. So in most of the plant cells, cellulose is a major cell wall material. In bacteria also there is cell wall, though it is considered as it shows both animal and plant characters because it belongs to Protista, so it shows both animal and plant characters. The plant character present in bacteria is presence of cell wall, but the cell wall is not made up of cellulose. In case of bacteria, it is made up of mucopolysaccharides and polypeptides. mucocomplexes. In fungi, the cell wall material is chitin, the fungal cellulose. Chitin is also microfibrillar polysaccharide as cellulose. The cell wall polysaccharides can be of three classes: the microfibrillar polysaccharides, pectins, and hemicelluloses. The most common microfibrillar polysaccharide component found in all plant cell walls is cellulose. It consists of a collection of beta-1,4 linked glucan chains that interact with each other via hydrogen. So another important component of cell wall is water. Water is an important structural component of the cell wall. It forms part of the gel structure of the pectins. Because of the changes in the water content of the cell, the wall causes reversible changes in the texture of the cell wall matrix as the pectin gel changes to viscous solution. So it's an important structural component in cell wall. It causes changes due to the changes in the water content of the cell wall. It causes reversible changes in the texture of the cell wall matrix as the pectin gel changes to a viscous solution. Changes in the water content of the wall causes changes in the degree of adherence between the microfibrils and the matrix. So the bonding between the microfibrils and the matrix changes due to the with the content of the water. As a solvent, water affects the permeability of the wall to other molecules and ions. The more water in the wall, the more permeability is. So when more amount of water is present in the cell wall shows more permeability. That means the permeability is the nature in which the cell wall allows certain particles to pass through it. As growth of the cell increases, when the growth of the cell ceases, the space occupied by water in the wall becomes progressively filled with lignin, thus making the matrix and therefore the whole wall much more rigid. The wall becomes much more rigid. Here this diagram shows the typical structure of the plant cell wall. The plant cell wall shows three layers: the middle lamellum, and the primary cell wall, secondary cell wall, and sometimes tertiary wall. So in majority of the plant cell wall structures, the middle lamellum, primary wall, and secondary wall is present. The middle lamellum is these layers are being composed of microfibrils embedded in polysaccharide matrix. In this middle lamellum, the middle lamellum is the adjacent. It is present in between the two adjacent cells as a cementing substance and cementing layer. On either side of the middle lamellum, each cell is having its own primary cell wall, and inner to the primary cell wall, secondary cell wall materials are deposited. But in meristematic cells and younger cells, only the primary cell wall is present, whereas in case of mature cells, there is formation of secondary cell walls. However, the different layers may differ from one another in several respects. The most important which are the cell wall, the thickness, the ratio of the microfibrillar component to the matrix content, the orientation of microfibrils within the matrix relative to long axis of the cell, the nature of matrix polysaccharides, the degree of lignification, and the water content. These are the things in which the different layers of cell wall differ. Middle lamella is the first layer to be formed when a cell divides. At the end of the telophase, which is the last stage of karyokinesis, in between the two daughter nuclei, there is remnants of spindle fibers called phragmoplast. So this phragmoplast in between, it is like a framework. This in between this phragmoplast fibrils, certain vacuoles are migrated from the endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi complexes. They'll be moving to the equator of the cell, where they lie side by side on the equator. When the vacuoles are ruptured, the total water content of the vacuoles come out, and it will be spreading in between the two daughter nuclei as a liquid middle lamellum, into which calcium, magnesium and pectin, they are deposited and become calcium pectate and magnesium pectate to form into cementing middle lamellum. So this is very hard at present in between the two cells, which joins and glues two neighboring plant cells. It is absent. This middle lamella is absent on the free surface of plant cells and in plasmodesmata region. So these plasmodesmata are nothing but the cytoplasmic extensions which extend from one cell to another cell through a pore-like structures called pits. This middle lamellum dissolves in dry fruits, which results in softening. Middle lamellum can be dissolved artificially by means of acid treatment. When acid treatment is given to the cells, this middle lamellum is dissolved. Next to this, in the structure, there is one more layer that is called primary cell wall layer. So on either side of the middle lamellum, each cell is having a new layer that is called primary cell wall. The primary cell wall generally it is generally a thin, flexible and extensible layer formed while the cell is growing. So it is the first deposition product of protoplast outside the plasma membrane and is present inner to middle lamellum. The primary cell wall is delicate, flexible and it is thin, capable of extension. Its thickness increases with the growth of the plant cell. It grows by further deposition of wall material into the existing primary wall. This type of primary cell wall is present in case of parenchymatous cells. Parenchymatous cells, meristematic cells, which are very tender cells or embryonic cells, and cells involved in photosynthesis, respiration and secretion, and unicellular plants have only primary walls. Both the structure and function of cell walls changes as plants Both the structure and function of cell walls change as plant cells develop. The thickness Both the structure and function of cell walls change and as plant cells develop. The thickness as well as the composition and organization of cell walls can vary significantly. The walls of growing plant cells are relatively thin and flexible, allowing the cell to expand in size. The microfibrils of the cellulose are deposited on both sides of the middle lamella and form the primary cell wall. Once cells have ceased growth, they frequently lay down secondary cell walls. So at maturity, just below the primary cell wall, the secondary cell wall materials are deposited depending upon the position and functions of the cells. Such secondary cell walls, which are both thicker and more rigid than primary walls, are particularly important cell types responsible for conducting water and providing mechanical strength to the plants. The secondary cell wall is often deposited on inner side of the primary walls after the growth of the cell stops. It is about 4 to 10 μ thickness, rigid, non-elastic, permeable and made up of cellulose and lignin deposits. Secondary wall deposition is not uniform. That means secondary cell wall materials are uniformly not deposited on the primary wall uniformly. Here and there are some unthickened areas are present. At some places, secondary wall material is not laid down. Such unthickened areas are called pits. So, pits of two neighboring cells form pit pair. That means the unthickened areas present on either side of the of the two cells are called a pit pair. Pits can be of two types: simple and bordered pits. Simple pits are those pits, they are simply unthickened areas present on the primary cell wall due to the lack of deposition of the secondary cell wall materials. These pits, if at all they are overarched by the secondary cell walls, that is called bordered pit. The pits which are not overarched by this secondary cell wall is called simple pits. During the development of pits, the secondary cell wall may overarch the pit cavity, forming a border, leaving an inner opening called pit aperture. Such pits with borders are called bordered pits. So, two opposite border pits are also called bordered pit pair. A transverse section through pit shows only one circle, and transverse section through bordered pit shows two circles, one of pit and other of border. Bordered pits are present in tracheids of gymnosperms. Bordered pits are present in tracheids of gymnosperms and vessels of angiosperms. These tracheids and vessels are the cells of complex tissue called xylem. These pits which lack the borders are called simple pits. Two opposite simple pits on adjacent cells are called simple pit pair. These pits are through these pits only the plasmodesmata, that means a number of fine cytoplasmic strands which are about 20 to 40 nanometers in diameter, they pass through pits from one cell to another and make connection between the cytoplasm of two cells. Endoplasmic reticulum plays an important significant role in origin of plasmodesmata. These plasmodesmata help in transfer of nutrients, stimuli and other materials between adjacent cells and thus produce a protoplasmic continuum called symplast. So these are the simple and bordered pits. The secondary plant cell wall, which is often deposited inside the primary cell wall as a cell matures. sometimes has a composition nearly identical to that of earlier developed wall. The secondary cell walls are laid down between the primary cell wall and the plasma membrane. It lies near the plasma membrane or a tertiary cell wall. Secondary cell wall frequently consists of three concentric layers S1, S2 and S3, which occur one after the other and differ in the orientation of their cellulose microfibrils. The primary and secondary cell wall differ in composition as well as in thickness. The primary cell wall contains approximately equal amounts of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. In contrast, the more rigid secondary walls generally lack pectin, contains 50 to 80% cellulose. Many secondary walls are further strengthened by lignin, a complex polymer of phenolic residues that is responsible for much of the strength and density of wood. The orientation of cellulose microfibrils also differ in the primary and secondary cell walls. In primary wall, the microfibrils are short, wavy and loosely scattered, whereas in secondary cell wall, the microfibrils are long, straight, close and parallelly arranged. The cellulose fibers of primary wall appears to be randomly arranged, whereas those of secondary walls are highly ordered. Cell walls commonly are classified into two major types, primary and secondary. Primary walls are formed by growing cells and are usually considered to be relatively unspecialized and similar in molecular architecture in all cell types. The secondary cell walls are the cell walls that form after cell growth or cell enlargement has ceased. The secondary walls may become highly specialized in structure and composition, reflecting the differentiated state of the cell. Depending upon the position and function of the secondary cell wall materials differ. They may be lignin, cutin, chitin, suberin. So it depends upon the cell function. This is an origin of the cell wall or formation of cell wall. In plants, the cell wall formation takes place by a method of cell plate method. After cytokinesis, that is after cell division at the end of the telophase. So many cells at the end of the telophase, in between the two daughter nuclei, the phragmoplast is present, into which vesicles provided by Golgi bodies and endoplasmic reticulum combine to form a cell plate. Initially it is in the liquid form. After some physical and chemical changes, the cell plate, which becomes rich in proteins, grows on both sides to form middle lamella, which is like it's very hard like a cementing substance and which glues neighboring plant cells. After the formation of the middle lamellum, in the cell plate method, after the formation of middle lamellum, the primary wall and the secondary walls are laid down on the middle lamellum to form complete cell wall. The plant cell wall biosynthesis involves multiple cellular compartments. As cells expand, new components of cell walls are deposited outside the plasma membrane. So this is how in the diagram that is shown, this is how after cytokinesis the two daughter nuclei are formed with chromosomes, and within a single cell two daughter nuclei are formed. In between there is remnants of phragmoplast is present and the vesicles are migrating into it, where they are arranged on the equator side by side. When they are pressed together, and they burst out and releasing the total inner content of the vacuoles, and it forms a layer in between the two daughter nuclei. Initially it is in the form of a liquid, later becomes cementing substance called middle lamellum. So next, the cellulose, which is important component of the cell wall, is synthesized by plasma membrane multi-unit enzyme complex called cellulose synthase, having at least 3 different enzymes and probably some other proteins. From cellulose, microfibrils are synthesized and deposited directly into the extracellular matrix. Microfibrils are synthesized on the plasma membrane by protein complexes called particle rosettes. In expanding cells, the newly synthesized cellulose microfibrils are deposited at right angles to the direction of cell elongation. This matrix components including hemicellulose, pectins and glycoproteins are synthesized in the Golgi apparatus and delivered to the wall via secretory vesicles. Components synthesized in different locations are assembled into a functional wall matrix with the help of different kinds of proteins. The cell walls are the products of cytoplasm. The cytoplasmic organelles such as endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, etc. play very important role in the formation of cell wall. The cell wall formation is started by formation of phragmoplast cell plate. The cell plate is formed by small vesicles of endoplasmic reticulum which cuts off from the endoplasmic reticulum and migrate from periphery to the equator of the cell. In the equator region of the dividing cells, the vesicles of endoplasmic reticulum get arranged on the equator and thus separate the two daughter parts of the cytoplasm. Later on, all the vesicles except a few which form the plasmodesmata fuse with one another to form discontinuous cell plate. The cell plate in later stages develops pectin and changes into middle lamella. The formation of middle lamellum is also accompanied by some large vesicles known as phragmosomes and the vesicles of Golgi apparatus which provide non-cellulose material. Then the fibrils of the cellulose deposit on both sides of the middle lamellum and form the primary cell wall. The secondary cell wall develops later on by the deposition of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin beneath the primary cell wall. The plasma membrane is formed by the Golgi apparatus, which is present beneath the secondary cell wall. This plasma membrane is lipoproteinaceous in nature. Next, coming to the functions of cell wall. The plant cell walls encase the plant cells, that means they cover the plant cell and provide many structural and functional roles. A major role of the cell wall is to form a framework for the cell to prevent overexpansion. The cellulose fibers, structural proteins and other polysaccharides help to maintain the shape and form of the cell. The cell wall provides mechanical strength and support. It also controls the direction of cell growth. The cell wall protects the cell, that means the content of the cell, against loss of water. The protoplast which is present in the cell is protected by the cell wall against loss of water, excessive heat and foreign attack by the pathogens. It gives definite shape, supporting framework and rigidity to the cell. It provides mechanical strength in higher plants having vascular system. It protects the cell from mechanical injury. Cells also communicate with one another via plasmodesmata, which pass through the pores or channels which are present in the cell wall called pits. And this between the cell walls and form a system of interconnected protoplast. So the protoplast of two cells are interconnected by the cytoplasmic extensions through the pores or pits present on the wall. This continuous system is called symplast. It provides a porous medium for circulation of water, minerals and other nutrients in between the adjacent cells. Cuticle, which is present just above the epidermal layer on the outer surface of epidermal cells, and suberin present in the periderm or bark, prevents water loss. The cell wall has an important function in regulating how plant cells achieve their final size and shape, and consequently have an essential role in regulating plant growth. Some of the proteins of cell wall possess catalytic activity by acting as enzymes to polymerize wall monomers, enzymes that cross-link polymers and enzymes that cleave polymers. The cell wall plays a very important role by performing certain functions such as giving mechanical strength to the cells and plants as a whole, maintaining the shape of the cell. It also prevents osmotic bursting of the cells by inhibiting excessive endosmosis. That means entry of water into the cells is regulated by the cell wall. The walls of xylem vessels, tracheates and sieve tubes, which are nothing but conducting tissue cells, allow movement of materials to a long distance. Besides that, cutin and suberin deposits and check loss of water from the cell surface by evaporation. Also, the orientation of cellulose microfibrils help to control cell growth and shape. The pit present in the wall help to produce cytoplasmic continuum or symplast among cells. So coming to the properties of cell wall, the cell wall has rigidity. The cell wall provides shape and support to the cell and appears to be rigid, having considerable tensile strength. But the cell wall is flexible up to some extent. The rigidity of the healthy plant cells results from a combination of the wall construction and turgor pressure of the protoplast by passive uptake of water. In some plant cells, a secondary wall is developed after cell ceases growth. These additional layers are added in between the primary cell wall and the plasma membrane. This additional layer may be formed containing lignin in xylem cell walls or suberin in cork cell walls. The cell walls of such cells become thicker, which increases rigidity. The cell wall also shows permeability. The secondary cell walls containing wide range of additional compounds as cellulose, hemicellulose and lignin. This lignin penetrates the space in the cell between cellulose, hemicelluloses and pectin, driving out water that modify mechanical properties and permeability of secondary cell wall. The outer part of the primary cell wall of the plant epidermis is usually impregnated with cutin and wax, forming a permeability barrier known as the plant cuticle. The walls of cork cells in the bark of trees are impregnated with suberin, and suberin also forms the permeability barrier.